Hey, Martin. Thank you for joining Home Study.
Thanks, Mario. Good to
Glad,
see you again.
glad to have you here. So, you are with University Splinkers. You're serving all over BC. Uh, Introduce a little bit yourself. Tell us a little bit about the business, who you're presenting, etc., etc.
Yeah, thanks. So I've been with University Sprinklers for 16 years now. I can't believe it's been 16 already. They're a locally owned and operated irrigation company serving the greater Vancouver and Fraser Valley area. Started in 1983. So we've been around for, oh my gosh, we're going on to 43 years already. Um,
Nice.
Fantastic outfit. I'm not just gloating because I work there. It actually is a really well run and caring operation.
Awesome. That's awesome. Let's start with something fun. If the business was a superhero, what would its superpower be?
Oh, well, that's easy. I'm an irrigation contractor, so it'd definitely be Aquaman.
Aquaman,
So
okay.
obviously be Aquaman. So be able to do. I guess I'd be able to swoop in with my cape on and uh, easily take care of people's watering problems, just because that's what I would be.
That's awesome. So tell us a little bit about the story of University Splinkers. How did it started? It's family owned. It's based in BC.
Yeah. So the owners, they still live in Tawasin. It started when the owner himself was in UBC in university. He was in business school there, and he decided to install an irrigation system for his neighbor one summer to make some extra money. And back then there was, not nearly the technology they have now, so it was pretty rudimentary. I think it was even copper piping they installed, which is hilarious. Um, and from there, the idea was born that he'd be able to spread out installing these throughout his neighborhood in his summers off. He quickly realized he had something there. So from that time on, he studied it and learned how it's done properly. Obviously, there's a few things you don't do right your first time. So that's how it was born. And over time, it's developed into what it is today, which is a medium to large size company with over 100 employees in peak season.
Oh wow, that's awesome. And
Yeah.
I love the idea that you are a student there. And you look around, you start something to make extra money, and then you're like, oh, this could be an actual business idea. And then 40 years later, that business has over 100 employees. That is awesome.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
we
They've
should
done,
have a
I admire the owners. They're also really great people.
Yeah, we should have a dedicated podcast just for that, like
Yeah.
how it's.
Just for them. Yeah, for sure.
What's one funny or surprising moment from your early days in business?
One surprising moment. Oh my gosh. Good
Or a
question.
lot, whatever. Well, you can tell us as many stories as you want.
Well, I think of, there's when we do main water connections, we tie into a client's water supply from where it comes in at the city street.
Mhm.
And we have a guy in our company who specializes in just making those connections. So you dig a great big hole to access that line way down under. That could be 3 feet down. It could be 5 feet down. And once you find the line, the service line that accesses the house, we cut into it, put in a T, and that now supplies the irrigation. So one day, Jason was down in a hole in North Delta, putting one on. Thank goodness it was summertime. And he had it all on nicely. And, he does hundreds of these. But for whatever reason, the fitting slipped. So now you've got 100 pounds of pressure and the T
Oh,
slipped off. And poor Jay was basically in an instant bathtub. filled with water. So it was one of those ones where we were at least grateful it was summertime, but also that he was able to get there and do a connection real quick to shut that water off. And it was early on in my career, so it was pretty interesting to see.
Yeah, but definitely, it looks like you definitely remember that. No, you're never gonna forget that.
No, no, especially because I got to be the one laughing.
Yeah, that's usually this things sticks quite a bit, especially when you have a lot of
Yeah.
emotions involved. So tell me a little bit about investors thinkers. What service do you offer? What makes you stand out? Where you specialize? If you have a niche.
Yeah. Um, so we've got a full installation and service department. So we we support clients from the beginning all the way through the life of their irrigation system. So we've got two essentially uh, two teams in place. We have a sales department and a service department. The sales department, which is what I'm a part of, we're the estimators in the company.
Hmm.
So we're trained to design the irrigation systems and obviously to have them installed by our crews. Um, and then once the systems are installed, the client is now cared for through our service department for annual startups and annual winterizations. Those are all done by our service techs.
Hmm.
So that's for the irrigation side as far as installing and servicing. One of the other areas we're involved in is also landscape lighting.
Hmm.
So, one of the benefits of having irrigation trenches open to install irrigation piping is we can also lay lighting cables in that same trench with the irrigation pipes. And we bring those wire stubs to different locations in a client's property to give them an opportunity to have landscape lighting at night as well. So it's a cost effective way to get the infrastructure in place.
Nice. So
Lighting
basically,
actually is a pretty, yeah, lighting's actually a big part of our company. We we do it extensively. We have a huge range of fixtures that we can install. So it's a way to have drama at nighttime all year round with your landscape.
no, sweet. So irrigation is one, let's say one of the core services. Lighting is another one. And in irrigation, you have installation and services. And then lighting, you have both, I guess, at the same time. And the fact that you do irrigation helps also with lighting because you can pass, you said cables like at the same time. Okay, sweet. So
Yeah,
who needs more lighting? Like, give me an example. What type of lighting are we talking about?
yeah. So if you have let's say for example, you have a residential property and they have um, perhaps some long pathways. They have got plants and shrubs in the front yard and in the backyard. We're able to highlight pathways, trees, columns on homes. So we're able to add flair and just such a wonderful effect to the property, and that allows both safety and for a really nice look. So let's say in the backyard, for example, they've got a pathway that goes out to a beautiful garden bed, and the clients have a patio in their backyard. They're able to see the different large trees and shrubs all lit up along with pathways, which allow both for safety and for effect at the same time.
Okay, sweet. Okay, so one and two. Awesome. I love that. Um,
Yeah.
can you share a project that shows your team personality or something that turned into a comedy, apart from the previous experience that you had in your early years? Something that you'd like to highlight?
Good question.
I'm putting
Um,
you on
I
spot
think you got
now, so.
I think you got me on the spot now. That's okay. I'm trying to think of other funny stories. Well, um we've had it where the water supply to a client's house was
Mhm.
12 feet down. and a 12-foot hole is a long way. So in some cities, Pitt Meadows is one of the classic ones. For whatever reason, they installed their lines incredibly deep when all that water supply infrastructure was done. So then you've got crew, they have to shore the hole to protect them. But we've had it where it was so deep that one of the guys was in the hole and they had to fill a bucket and lift it up to their helper at the top of the hole to dump it and put it back down. It was almost like primitive style hole digging.
Hmm.
Fortunately for us, we've got guys who were troopers and they grinded it out until they had it all opened up and they still got the connection done. But a 12-foot hole is, you could be looking at a day and a half to get that done.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, and kudos to you, to your team. That's awesome.
That's exactly what it is.
What's your number one tip for homeowners hiring a sprinkler, uh, or irrigation, not a sprinkler, irrigation company? What should they be careful for, or what should they have in their mind?
Yeah. So the more education that a homeowner has, the better the informed decision they'll be able to make. And one of the important parts is to know what areas of your landscape you already want to have watered and what
Hmm.
areas you don't. That way, when we come on site, we're able to walk through effectively and design according to what they actually do want to have watered and what they don't. What is really
Hmm.
neat is that when I'm on site, I'm able to show clients opportunities to water things they had no idea that we'd be able to access and bring water to. For example, let's say they have some pots on an upper patio. Um, they had no idea we'd be able to bring a water supply up there to water those automatically as well. Um, but I think most importantly, like I said, is just knowing what areas you want watered.
Okay. So do a lot of research and know where exactly you want the water to be, or where you want the irrigation to be. Um, what's the strangest DIY fix you ever seen from a homeowner?
Oh my, if I could pull up a PowerPoint right now, it would be hilarious because I've actually got a document on my computer called the Wall of Shame. And so when I run
Okay.
into I actually do training seminars at times, Mario. So I'll do courses at conventions, and I've got part of my PowerPoint a Wall of Shame where when I see something which was a clear DIY and it is hilarious, I will take a picture of it. So I have seen, for example, um, the classic home built irrigation system where the water supply was their hose tap and the tap is perhaps split with 3 or 4 garden hoses attached to different sprinkler pipes that go to different parts of the yard. Now, fine, I get it that, that's what they'll wrap their head around when they did a YouTube video. But some of the funny ones I've seen is rather than a hose, they use the type of hose you plug in a toilet with the silver cabling around it. So I've seen like several lines of toilet cable coming into their water lines. It was pretty creative. That was one of the ones I thought was hilarious.
That's awesome. I think, thinking about marketing and all the different things, because I see that from that perspective. You could post like on a weekly basis what not to do when it comes to irrigation. I think this should be more fun. Instead of telling people what to do, you could tell them what not to do, and that that'd be awesome.
Yeah, yeah. The
Future
funny of
plans,
the week.
yeah. What are some future plans? And well, I ask this question to everybody because, as you see, as you know, and everybody knows, like AI is changing a lot of things. So let me ask directly, without going to insights and stuff like that. Are you guys using artificial intelligence? Are you using AI? Is that changing your work, scheduling, marketing, or the job site?
Um, at this point, no.
No.
Now,
Okay.
I'm not saying that some of us sales guys don't use it for our own personal scheduling and such. But as far as incorporating it into how we design irrigation systems, how we display products to clients, because everything is so one on one and personal, there's not
Yeah.
a lot of that involved. Um,
Okay.
Also, everyone's yard's so unique, Mario. So to it's not like I can just quickly take a picture at this point of a front yard and tell AI to design an irrigation system for me. There's way too many nuances to make that happen. It also requires um, the feedback that I get from the client is integral into obviously how I design it. You've got a client's budget to consider. Um, there's a lot of unknowns, how deep some of the water services will be. And of course, AI can't figure that out for me. Now,
Mm,
I'm not saying there won't be a time and down the road that it will be made useful, but at this point, not yet.
okay. Sweet. We're now to the next stage of the podcast, rapid fire round questions. Okay. So I'm going to ask you some light questions, fun questions, and you just answer as fast as possible. Okay.
Fire away.
Ready to go?
Yep, ready to
Awesome.
go.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Favorite BC gateway spot?
Favorite BC gateway spot?
Yeah.
Mario, I don't even know what that is.
Choose something that, tell me a location that you like in BC.
I would say Golden Ears Park, one of the
Golden
most
Spot.
beautiful ones in the BC.
Yeah, I agree.
And
I love that.
I gotta admit, I'm biased. I live close by, but it really is
Okay,
beautiful.
it is. It is very good. Funniest customer request you ever had?
Oh gosh. You're asking me to quick fire this? Um, Attached to their current system, which was already a hot mess to begin with.
Okay,
So in other words, they're asking me to build a professionally designed irrigation system where the water source is already a hot mess.
got it. If AI took over one task in your business, which one would you happily give it?
Probably if we had a some type of a robotic digging tool that was
Oh,
able to
nice.
do trenching properly, that would
Yeah,
save a lot of backs for sure.
yeah, I think that's a great idea. What do you love to do outside of your work?
Um, Camping, all things
Camping.
outdoors. Camping and DIY. I fashion myself fairly handy and I enjoy just fixing things in general and working with my hands.
Okay, sweet. Okay, so we are close to the end of the podcast. So the question is, if somebody needs your service, how should they reach out? Should they get the website, call you? Um, how can the homeowner how can VC homeowners reach out if they like your services?
Yeah. So the easiest way, if they don't have the number right at hand, is just to go to our website, universitysprinklers.com.
Okay.
We have our central phone number there. If they call, um, once the office staff will ask them some questions about, for example, where they live and what they're looking for. That request will then come out to us estimators,
Yeah.
and within 24 to 48 hours, they will get a call back from one of us to schedule a visit for them at their property.
Okay. Sweet. So basically, start with University Speakers website, and then I can find all the information from there.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you, Martin. Thank you for joining our podcast today.
Hey, Mario, appreciate it. Good to see you as well. Take care now.
Thank you.